11 September 2022. This Skidmark I'm going to talk about Yemen again. I have done a fairly comprehensive Skidmark on Yemen, and I'll put the link in the description of this video to it. What is happening in Yemen is really a travesty, and the short and sweet of it was that after 30 or 35 years of rule by a king, there was protests and the king was removed, and there was elections, and then the Saudis decided they're not going to support the outcome of those elections, and with their American friends and the British and the French, they started bombing the shit out of the Yemeni people in an effort to try and get that king back into the seat. And in the meantime, there is a wholesale theft of the Yemen gas and oil, and their oil tankers are being pirated on the open sea, and the Yemen people really suffer. They are dying from hunger and lack of medicine. And the first article I'm going to refer to, I'm just using it as a reference of showing you how fucking arrogant this West can be. The UK tells Africans to eat insects for the environment. Starvation-threatened Africans are being encouraged to eat insects by a UK aid initiative. And you can read the rest of the thing if you want to. The bottom line is, they don't help the people to farm properly and grow products and do cattle farming and all that, which people normally use for food. No, the fuckers come here with an alternative, and they want the Africans to eat bugs. And that is the UK. The same fucking UK that is helping the Saudis to bomb the shit out of the Yemenis. Now look at this image. It is nauseating. Yemen. This is Yemen. A bullet would be more humane for these children. For not caring means it will come to our shores, and you will eat bugs. This is the future plan of the New World Order for all of us. The longest food and medicine blockade in the world. 8 years of suffering of people and children without the European and Western media reporting on this humanitarian catastrophe. It is a fucking shame. 8 years. Look at those children. And here's more. If only Brits saw such pictures, they will know why their government's reasoning for delaying a release of information detailing arms sales to Saudi Arabia is that release of such material may not be in the public's interest. As for the second time in a row, UK's Department of International Trade rejects releasing documents on arms exports to Saudi Arabia. Saudi-US-led NATO-sponsored war on Yemen has already killed nearly 400,000 people, displacing millions and creating the largest humanitarian crisis in modern history. This is what the fucking Brits are doing in Yemen. And then they want to fucking have a lot to say about Russia in Ukraine. The Russians don't do things like this. Look at this. America, which claims protecting human rights, has led an ongoing barbaric and brutal aggression against Yemen since 7 years ago, in which it committed most heinous crimes against civilians. A photo showing just one side of US terrorism on Yemen, and for what? Just for the sake of US evil interests. Look at that. But the US, the time is running out for them. They don't realize and they don't understand how the rest of the world feels about the US. This is just to give you a little bit of an overview. Air raids on Yemen. The Saudi-led coalition has carried out more than 24,000 air raids since 2015, according to data collected by Yemen Data Project. Since 2015, human rights group Amnesty International has investigated dozens of air attacks across Yemen and found many instances where civilians were killed with US-made bombs. And that is what the US does. This is Yemen. These people be forgotten only because they don't have blue eyes and blonde hair. Look at that child. Look at that. And you Western taxpayers, American taxpayers, British taxpayers, French taxpayers, your money is used to create this. This is what your money is doing. Imagine that this is not a top news headline. 22 million. Yemen's humanitarian crisis is considered the worst in the world. The risk of famine could imperil 22 million people. Let that sink in. 22 million people. For 8 years, they don't have access to medicine. There are massive restrictions on their food imports. And all done by the Saudis, aided by Britain, the Americans, and the French. This is what the West do. This is what the West do. And in the meantime, they are stealing the oil and the gas. Now, it's not a secret that Iran is supporting the Yemeni rebels. But this shit must stop. And the West keeps on doing this type of thing. But they are going to pay for this. What the Russians are doing to them in Europe now is payback for all the shit that they have stirred all around the globe. Now the shit is right on their front stop, and they'll have to deal with it. And the ironic part of it, it was all self-inflicted. I really don't know how these people can sleep at night, knowing that, but look, we have seen it. They've got no conscience. And I can't understand that the American public and the British public and the French public could be happy about this shit that their governments. In any case, I thank you for your support. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, and share the thing. The world must take note of these things. Good night.